So after understanding the national emergency, which generally operates throughout the country, so let us proceed towards the second kind of emergency declared by president. So this emergency is limited to a particular state, or two or more states, or one state. So what on what basis an emergency is imposed in a particular state? So what is it called? So all such things we'll discuss now. So the situation in a state, if the constitutional machinery like the government is unable to run in a particular state, then it is called breakdown of constitutional machinery. See, legislature is a major organ of constitution. When such legislature fails to function due to various political reasons or many other reasons, if they fail to run as per the provisions of the constitution, then such situation is called breakdown of constitutional machinery. And the president in such situation will receive a report from the governor of that state. And if the president is satisfied that the state government in a state is unable to run or is not carried on in accordance with constitutional provisions, then he may declare an emergency in the state. So the governor of the state, who is generally the constitutional head of a particular state, will be reporting the situation in the state to the president. So because of various political reasons, if the ruling party, chief minister or somebody resigns, the government will collapse, and having no government in a state is breakdown of constitutional machinery. In such situations, the governor will report the matter to the president. And president, if he is satisfied, what do you mean by satisfied here? Again, the same thing. If the president feels that yes, there is definitely constitutional failure happened in such a state, then immediately he will impose emergency in the state. The emergency imposed by president on the recommendation of the governor in a state is known as president's rule. And this president rule in that particular state is carried on by the representative of the president called governor. So the president will run the president rule in the state through the governor of that particular state. And how long this emergency president rule will be imposed? Generally, president rule will be imposed for 2 months. However, if this has to be extended, then it can be extended to 6 months and another 6 months. So in total, it can be extended to 1 year with the approval of the parliament. If the parliament approves, then the president can impose the emergency, or he can extend the emergency for a period of up to 1 year with governor as his representative in that state. In an extraordinary conditions, this president rule in a state can even be extended up to 3 years, but conditions must be very much extraordinary. So in which circumstances this president rule will be extended for more than 1 year? This will be extended in a state for more than 1 year during national emergency. Suppose if president rule is imposed in a state, and it is going on, 1 year is finished, and now suppose immediately if national emergency is also declared by president and it starts in operation, then the state's emergency will be continued. So when a state is under president rule, and if national emergency is also imposed, in such situations the president rule will extend in the state for more than 1 year. And there is another situation called, if the election commission, for example, if the legislative government fails to run because the ruling party may lost its majority in the legislative assembly and there is no government in the state. In such situations, what happens? Definitely new elections has to be conducted and new government has to form. And if the election commission certifies that holding elections in that particular state is very difficult due to law and order situation or due to various reasons, then the president rule in the state can be extended more than 1 year. So one is during national emergency, it can be extended more than 1 year, and the other is if the election commission certifies that it cannot conduct elections in that state due to various reasons, then the president rule can be extended. So this happened when Andhra and Telangana got divided. So the then Chief Minister Kiran Kumar Reddy, he resigned from his Chief Minister post, and suddenly there was a constitutional breakup. So all the government collapsed. Immediately the government reported the matter to president, and the president imposed president rule. So this is just for your understanding an example. So like in national emergency, when we learned, we also studied what are the effects of national emergency, throughout the country. We have studied that the fundamental rights will be suspended. So many such things we have studied. Similarly, what are the effects of president rule or the emergency in a state? So what will be the effect of that president rule? So let us understand this point by point. The state administration comes under the president. So that is the union government. And the governor rules on behalf of the president in accordance with the instruction of union government. See here, the first and foremost thing is the administration of the state, entire administration will come under the union government. The central government will take over all the control of the state, and as he was head of the country, the president will be nominal head for the state. But the president will also rule, it's not ruling, the president on behalf of the governor, the union government will control the state during an emergency situation in that state. Even though it is called president rule, the parliament or the union government will take control of the entire administration of the state, so with the governor as its head. And the president during such situations may also dissolve the Vidhan Sabha and also dismiss the council of ministers or keep them in suspended motion or animation. See, whenever there is a president rule imposed in a state, the president has many options with him. He will get timely advice from the central government, from the prime minister and his council of ministers, and accordingly he may take any decision. One is, he may completely dissolve the Lok Sabha of that particular, not Lok Sabha, he may completely dissolve the Vidhan Sabha, the legislative assembly of the state, and he may ask the governor to completely take control with the timely advice from union government. Or he may dismiss the council of ministers completely, or he may keep them in suspended animation, and with a governor he may rule the state. And this is one effect which happens after president rule is imposed. The other effect is the union government or the central government makes laws for the state and pass even budget of the state. So during the president rule, there might be definitely requirement of different laws for the state to run the administration. In such situations, the central government will make laws for the state. As there is no government for the state, on behalf of the state, the union government or the central government will make laws, and it even passes the budget of the state. And the president may authorize spending from consolidated fund of India if Lok Sabha is not in session. So here, to run the administration of the state and no passing budget of the state, there might be definitely requirement of lot of revenues. In such situation, the president, he may ask, he may authorize the central government to draw money from the consolidated fund of India. What is consolidated fund of India? So it is a fund created where all the money collected through taxes from various states and various things of central government regarding financial reserves of central government will be stored there. So to run the administration and to pass the budget of the state, the central government will be authorized by president to withdraw money from this consolidated fund when the Lok Sabha is not in session. If Lok Sabha is in session, then they can pass the budget and they can allot the money for the state. If it is not in session, then the central government may directly withdraw money from the consolidated fund and it can spend it for that state which is having president rule. And the president also suspends the provision of constitution relating to any authority of state except that related to high court. So that means, so the president will suspend the provision of constitution relating to any authority of the state. So within state there might be some constitutional authorities. So like various people will be working like constitutional heads. Suppose you take state public service commission. There might be many agencies working in a state, like through on behalf of constitution. All such authorities, election commissioners will be there. They're all constitutional people working for a state. All such people even can be suspended, and except the high court issues, all other things can be suspended and be taken control with the union government. So now let us understand the financial emergency. So which is the last kind of emergency that a president can impose. So the word financial emergency itself will reveal that it is related to the financial matters of the country or the nation. So it is related to the economy of the nation. So under what circumstances a financial emergency will be imposed? When the financial stability or credit of the nation is threatened, then the president can impose financial emergency. If the country falls into a situation that its revenues will become completely depleted and it cannot pay its expenditure, it cannot even meet its expenditure of the government, and the credit limit is so high that it cannot even pay its credit limit. If the value of the money in the country drastically falls down, so this all will be threatening the financial stability of the country. So in such situations the president can declare financial emergency. And so how long he can declare this? He can declare this financial emergency for 2 months, or it can be extended by the parliament as it needs. So 2 months is the maximum validity of financial emergency, and it can be even extended by the decision of the parliament. And if Lok Sabha is dissolved when such proclamation is made, so when president declared financial emergency and Lok Sabha is in dissolved state, then that resolution can be if it is supporting, or if it is supported and passed by Rajya Sabha, then such proclamation will cease to exist after 30 days from the date on which Lok Sabha reconstitutes. See, this will be a little twisting for you. I'll make it simplify. See, when financial emergency is imposed, and what happened now? The Lok Sabha is dissolved. Now such resolution must be passed by parliament. See, the president cannot alone approve everything whatever he decides. As I said, he is a nominal head. So whatever the decision is taken by president, it must be approved by both houses of parliament. For example, when financial emergency is declared and Lok Sabha stands dissolved, then the permanent house Rajya Sabha will move the resolution because it is a permanent house. And when it is moved, later what will happen? The proclamation will be, the proclamation of financial emergency will continue. How long this proclamation will continue? Till the new Lok Sabha forms, because I said the Lok Sabha is already dissolved. Till the new Lok Sabha is formed, and 30 days must be finished. So after the formation of Lok Sabha and 30 days time is also finished, then this financial emergency will cease to function, because as new Lok Sabha has been constituted, again there must be approval from that new Lok Sabha. So as Lok Sabha was not in in a functional state, earlier Rajya Sabha just passed it and this resolution was in operation. But now when new Lok Sabha is formed, this financial emergency proclamation declared by president will cease to operate, and again this Lok Sabha has to accept it. So that is about the duration. And the effects of financial emergency. So what are the effects? The president may appoint a finance commission to suggest remedial measures. So we have studied this finance commission now. So on various aspects they'll give advices to president, and he accordingly the president may impose a financial emergency, and now he may make changes in the financial aspects of the country. He may also reduce the salary and allowances of government employees including judges. So this is a very simple point which you can understand. And now all money bills, so why they reduce salary? Because to meet the expenditures in a very what do you call, in a very very you can call it like useful way, or in a very limited way. And all money bills passed by Lok Sabha are to be submitted to president for consideration. As financial emergency is in operation, any money bill passed by Lok Sabha should also be sent to president first, so that he will go through that whether really the money bill which is introduced in Lok Sabha is really necessary or not. So we should spend no money very carefully at that time. Just for that purpose, he will go through all the money bills before it is submitted to parliament. And he may give instructions to state governments on financial expenditure and other things, because the state governments are also very crucial in financial emergency. So every state government, how it carefully spending or not, are they misusing the resources of money, all such things will be there. So he will even give instructions to state governments. He can order the states to submit money bills for his assent. So if a state proposes a money bill in its assembly, even that will be even referred, that will be even taken into consideration by president, and he will go through it whether the state is really in need of that money, or is it simply wasting the money. So just for a just to look after and monitor the financial resources, the president does all these kind of things. So this is about financial emergency. So thus, after finishing the three kinds of emergencies, so this is just a paper clipping now in 1962, where the President of India proclaimed emergency, and because of the Chinese aggression. So due to Indo-Chinese war, so there was an emergency situation in India, and now this was the paper clipping of that Chinese aggression and the proclamation of emergency in the country. So this is another major national emergency declared by president during the time of Indira Gandhi. So because because of various political reasons, during that times national emergency was proclaimed based on the grounds of internal disorder. The then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi has declared, and you can even see the paper clipping of the Hindu reporting how and preventive arrests and all, how press was censored. So all such things will be coming into action during emergencies, and how central government will become so powerful during those times. And you can even see the Home Ministry of India giving notification for proclamation of emergency. So notified by Home Ministry, but it is issued in the name of the President of India. So just to make you understand about the national emergency, how it operates, India has seen generally three times. One is during Chinese aggression, another is during Pakistan war, and another is during Indira Gandhi's time, where this internal disturbance based on internal disorder, this was imposed. Financial emergency was never imposed in our country till now. So this is about the emergency powers of the president, and by this even we end with the powers on the details of the president, and let us go with the vice president as our next topic. So coming to another constitutional dignitary of the nation, vice president. So what are the qualifications of vice president? So vice president, to contest, he must be a citizen of India, and he must have completed the age of 35 years. So similar to the qualifications of president, he must be also a citizen of India, as well as he must have crossed the age of 35 years. And like the president should be qualified as a member of Lok Sabha, here the vice president should be qualified for election as a member of Rajya Sabha. So all this will become the qualifications of vice president. And what is the manner of election for electing vice president? Here even the system of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote and secret ballot. So same thing, proportional representation. Every state will have different number of people. So as based on the population, they represent their representatives who will later elect the vice president. So even in the election of vice president, there is the involvement of electoral college, where the elected members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha will elect the vice president. So vice president is elected by both the members of Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. The difference between the election of president and vice president is, in the election of president, even the state legislative MLAs will be voters, whereas in the election of vice president, you cannot there is no involvement of the state legislative MLAs, because already he is a member of Rajya Sabha, and Rajya Sabha is nothing but council of states. So again, no need for representing state legislative people. Already these people, Rajya Sabha members, will be sent by the MLAs of the states. So no need again for the MLAs votes to be taken as count in the election of vice president. Hence, in the electoral college, only Lok Sabha members and Rajya Sabha members will be involved, whereas in president, even state MLAs will be taken into account. So to elect as vice president, so the member should be, contesting member should be proposed by 20 MPs and seconded by 20 MPs. So proposed means like they suggest the name of a candidate as vice president, and seconded means, so these seconded members will support the decision of the proposers. In president case it is 50, whereas in vice president it is 20 members. And oath of office. So here the vice president take oath before the president. The president will make him swear as vice president, and he should bear true faith and allegiance to Constitution of India. That means he should work by obeying the provisions of the Constitution, and he should discharge his duties very faithfully. Now let us discuss about the term of office of the vice president. So usually the term of office of vice president is 5 years, and he can resign his post by writing to the president. Such resignation will be communicated by president to Speaker of Lok Sabha. So the general term of the vice president of India is 5 years, and if he resigns, he has to submit his resignation to the president of India, and later the president of India will communicate this information of resignation of vice president to the Speaker of Lok Sabha, because he is member of among the parliament houses. So one house will be without any head and all. So they'll inform this matter to Speaker of Lok Sabha. And the vice president can be even removed from office by a resolution of Rajya Sabha passed by a majority of its members through impeachment. So even the removal of president and vice president is similar, whereas here in Rajya Sabha case it is very simple, they can just pass a resolution by 2/3 majority, and through impeachment process on the grounds of constitutional violation or these kind of reasons, the vice president can be impeached, and the vice president shall continue to hold his office until the new successor enters office. So which means that suppose if the term of vice president is finished and the new member is still on the process of election, then definitely he will continue till the new member takes a charge. So once his term is finished, that doesn't mean that he should step down and leave that place vacant. Till the newcomer or the new vice president comes into that position, he will be continued as the vice president. And what are the powers of vice president? He acts as the ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. So what do you mean by ex officio chairman? Which means by his authority or by the protocol authority, he will be the chairman of Rajya Sabha, and he regulates the debates and proceedings of the Rajya Sabha house. So he'll be chairing, he'll be like a chairperson for Rajya Sabha, and he will be controlling all the debates and proceedings of Rajya Sabha, and he decides the admissibility of the resolution of questions. So whatever questions that are being asked by members in the house, so similarly it will be asked only with the prior permission of the vice president or the chairman of Rajya Sabha. So he decides whether what question is to be accepted in Rajya Sabha, which question should not be accepted, all such things. He may also suspend members or adjourn business of the House in case of a grave disorder. Similar to the functions of Lok Sabha Speaker, here the Vice President discharges his duty as chairman. So what happens if there is a serious debate going on in the House and the members create a lot of disturbance and now the House cannot run further? In such situations, he may suspend the member, or he may suspend the session of the House, or he may completely adjourn the House and business of the House, and he may you know do all such things. And he also issues directions to chairmen of various committees in all matters. So we have discussed that no, there will be various committees constituted within parliament for no many changes to be brought, many such things. No, there will be a financial committee, there will be different committees will be appointed in the houses. So in such cases, he will issue directions to the chairmen of the committees, how to function and know what are their role, what are their limitations, everything. And in the absence of the chairman or the vice president, deputy chairman who is elected by Rajya Sabha members will be the chairperson of the house. That means whenever the chairman is unable to discharge his duties there, the deputy chairman will take over charge and he will perform the duties of the chairman of Rajya Sabha. And the other important function of vice president is he can also function as president, but under specific situations. When the functional sitting president dies or resigns or he is impeached by the House of Parliament, then the vice president will act as president, and till the new president is elected, this vice president will be functioning as the president of the country. During that time, he will be entitled with all the facilities and provisions and powers that a president will have. So this is about the vice president of India.